What's up, guys? It's your boy Xander here, back with another video. And today, we're going to talk about hair. I wanted to have this conversation just because I was talking with one of my Caucasian friends a couple days ago who has certain viewpoints on the hair conversation. And then he wanted to, kind of discuss with me. So part of it is just because a few weeks ago, there was a guy on Ellen who was on the show because he could not graduate because of his locks. So, we had conversations about, the cultural appropriation side of the conversation, black women wear wigs and all the things like that. So I was just like, you know what? Let me make a video to kind of continue that conversation and talk about it. So we're going to get into that. Before we do, make sure you click that like button, hit that subscribe button, and then ring that bell so that way you guys know when I post new content. So let's dive right into the video. All right, so when it comes to the hair conversation, I feel like it's a multi-layered conversation and there are a lot of different parts of the conversation. And a lot of people, are divided about it. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the ideology or the question behind whether white people or non-black people, non-people of color, wearing typical natural hairstyles like afros, cornrows, locks, and things like that is cultural appropriation. So I think that a large part of the reason why that is even a conversation is just because, especially for black people, natural black hair and natural black hairstyles, a lot of that is rooted in the black experience. A lot of that is, in fact, rooted in black culture. So when you look at locks, in the Rasta culture and things like that, when you look at cornrows and braids and things like that used to be a way that slaves would communicate, back during the times of slavery. And there's a lot of culturally rich facts that go into having, natural black hairstyles. There's a lot of cultural linkage between those. And I think that's why a lot of people like to say that it's cultural appropriation when you see people like Kim Kardashian, Babbie, and all types of things like that wearing traditional natural black hairstyles, braids and things like that. I think an important part of the conversation and an important piece of the conversation is understanding that, we as black people in 2020 deal with an implicit bias and discrimination when it comes to us wearing our natural black hair and natural black hairstyles. It is no surprise that people often view black hair as unkempt, as dirty, as unprofessional, and things like that. And these are still issues that we deal with in 2020. So, legislation has been introduced in 2020 and in 2019 in order to create laws that stop people from discriminating against black hair and natural black hairstyles. And the fact that we have to have laws in place and the fact that, legislators feel like it is necessary in order to stop discrimination is really kind of telling of the climate that we're in. So Senator Holly Mitchell has stated that the purpose of introducing this legislation, and it's happening all over the country, is to eliminate bias. Because whether you believe it or not, there is an implicit bias, when school policies and professional policies and things like that say that locks are unprofessional, afros are unprofessional, braids are unprofessional. I've seen pictures where, there was a whole list of photos of hairstyles that were not, appropriate for school, and it was traditional, young little girl black hairstyles. And I think that's very telling, like I said, of the climate that we're in. It should come as no surprise because there are being laws introduced. I want to say California just passed, a law that said it was illegal to discriminate against people for their natural hairstyles, and black hairstyles were the driving force for that. So I feel like that's very telling. One of the things my friend likes to say is, no one owns a hairstyle. And he asks, do black people own this hairstyle? And so what I want to say is I don't think that black people own a hairstyle. I think there are hairstyles that are naturally for people with black hair texture. There are, hairstyles that came from black culture. And while, some people may feel that we don't own specific hairstyles, we definitely do own the consequences that come with wearing our natural black hair. We definitely do deal with the consequences of wearing our natural black hair, in other environments. We have to edit ourselves and things like that in order to fit into the traditional professional and educational and business worlds. So when you think about, in recent history, all these people that have been discriminated against, and, for every viral story, there's 50 to 100, maybe even more non-viral stories. So you have Brittany Noble, who was the newscaster who was fired because apparently her hair was deemed unprofessional. I'm pretty sure there was just like natural kinky twists, things like that. So you see that all the time. You got Andrew Johnson, who was a professional wrestler who the referee made him cut his hair in the middle of the competition because he didn't like his locks. And that referee was eventually suspended for 2 seasons. But these are the type of things that we go through. You got Clinton Stanley Jr. Excuse me if I'm saying his name wrong. He was the 6-year-old boy who was turned away on his first day at his school because they told him he needed to go get a haircut because he had his locks. And when you think about this stuff that happens on the daily, it is very frustrating. And I think that's where the conversation starts. I think a large part of it isn't necessarily just the cultural appropriation side of it. It's the fact that, you have Kim Kardashian and Babbie and things like that are wearing these, hairstyles, but don't necessarily have to deal with the repercussions because to them it's a fashion statement. But to us, a lot of the times it's just our natural hair. And we are told, that our hair is unprofessional. And, there's the stigma that our hair is unkempt and it's dirty. So there's really that piece to it where it's really frustrating to see people wear our hairstyles or hairstyles in general as a fashion statement. And when we want to try to wear them, just in a natural way, we're told that it is unacceptable. So I think that's a part of the conversation that people don't really get. In 2020, we're still dealing with laws having to be put forth to stop that discrimination. And then another part of the conversation that I really want to have, and another thing that really pissed me off, Bhad Baby released a video, and I'll try to find it and post it, and she talks about, will black women wear weaves and wigs and things like that.
Comment was made towards the black women who had something to say about my hair. Like I said, to the black women who are saying my hair ain't meant for box braids, that's what I said. I didn't say to the whole black community, I just said back to them what they said to me. I said to all the people saying I'm trying to be black for wearing my hair in braids, well then you must be trying to be white for wearing your hair straight. That don't make sense, huh?
And so I want to address that because what angered me is that I saw a lot of black men and, some women, a small percentage of black women saying, well, she's right, she's not wrong. And I feel like that is just an ignorant viewpoint to take because you can't, on one hand, expect black men and women to wear, natural hairstyles and be discriminated against, and you can't tell them that their natural hair is unkempt and unprofessional and not for the educational environment and things like that. And on the other hand, shame them for wearing wigs and, wearing things that, let's just call it what it is, fit into the European standards of beauty that we, adhere to on the day-to-day basis in the country and in the world today. You can't say, well, you can't wear your natural hair, it's unprofessional, and then when they try to assimilate or try to self-edit, which black people a lot of times have to do in order to, fit in, for those that don't have the option to just do what they want, and then try to shame them for trying to do that. It doesn't make sense. I want to say, though, that no black woman, I can promise you, no black woman is walking around with a white woman's hair on her head. But then also, straight hair is not specific to white people. It's not specific to any type of race. It is not specific to any type of genetic, makeup. So the idea that because black women wear wigs and wear weaves and things like that, and they are trying to be white, which is what she basically implied in the video, it's ridiculous. We can't, like I said, there's a hypocrisy there in addition to the implicit bias and discrimination. We can't shame black women, for doing what they need to do to fit in, for doing what they need to do to get jobs in the professional world, for doing what they need to do to go to school and not be bothered. And then, tell them that they're unprofessional for wearing the natural hairstyle. You can't do both. And then to take it one step further, there was a video that went viral of a woman who wore her natural hairstyle, her natural hair for the first time at work, and people were picking at her essentially like she was an animal. Take a look at this clip.
It's so weird. You've never seen natural black hair.
No, it's just so it grows like this.
Oh no.
Like, do you see that? Do you see what I mean? Like, there's so many layers to this conversation, and there's so many aspects to it, and a lot of it I don't feel like people think about when we talk about hair, when we talk about that conversation. So there's definitely a lot that needs to be done, and we do have a lot of way to go when it comes to natural hair, natural hairstyles, and being able to thrive, you know, in our beauty, in our culture, in our natural hairstyles without dealing with bias, discrimination, being looked at as zoo animals, and things like that. So the purpose of this video was just to kind of have that conversation and to continue the conversation. I'm going to link Jackie Ainas' video down below. There's a hilarious part in the video where she says, "Don't touch my hair."
Touching hair, don't touch my hair. Don't touch my hair. Don't even think about touching my hair. Don't look at my hair. Don't breathe next to my hair. Okay, that's extreme.
But in the video, she talks a lot about, you know, that situation where they were picking at the girl's hair and a lot of people were calling her all types of bad words, saying, well, why is she just letting them do that? So she takes the conversation a step further. But just let me know down in the comments below what you think about the whole hair argument, whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me, some of your viewpoints on it. You guys know I just like to have conversations. I just want to get a dialogue going. I want to continue the dialogue, have conversations with my subscribers. So speaking of that, if you have not subscribed, you definitely should. It's good for your skin, it's good for your credit, and you're already here, so you might as well just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. Make sure you hit that bell, ring that bell so that you guys know when I post new content. This is Xander, and I am signing out.